schematic. Our home task is telencephalon.
Telencephalon comes from prosencephalon.
Prosencephalon before, when the free.
Prosencephalon means in wrong day.
Home task, telencephalon, hemisphere, cerebral hemisphere, all about hemisphere. Please write down telencephalon now. From what part came of, if you will have question, telencephalon, what you will tell. First, it has 4 parts. First, second. First, please write. Pallium or cerebral hemispherical cortex. Pallium, cerebral cortex. Here you will describe shortly. It is plan of answer. Free poles, free margins, free surfaces, superolateral, inferior, medial. Free poles, frontal, occipital, temporal. Then free poles. Нет, пока не брали, нет.
5 lobes.
5 lobes, free surfaces, 5 lobes, yes. 5 lobes, and then you will describe on the cerebral cortex gray matter. What you will describe? Sulci and gyri on superolateral, medial, and inferior surfaces. Sulci and gyri, sulci and gyri. Sulci and gyri on superolateral, medial, and inferior surfaces of the brain. With localization of function. With localization of function. Name gyri, name function. Name gyri, name function. It is about the cerebral cortex. Gray matter. Cortex. And white matter, white matter of cerebral cortex. You will describe 3 types of fibers. What type of fibers do you know?
Association, commissural, and
projection. 3 types of fibers: association, commissural, and projection. They pass through 3 capsules of the white matter: capsula extrema, externa, and interna. You will give example, definition of this. Cortex and white matter.
We will have written color.
After 3 classes called CNS. Right? No, oral. Second, второй вот this part. This is cerebral cortex and white matter. Next, you will describe under the cortex subcortical or basal ganglia. Subcortical or basal ganglia. You will describe this ganglia. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each ganglia. No, it is better give some picture for this ganglia and capsula interna. First, nucleus caudatus, lentiformis. Together they form caudatus lentiformis with their anatomical parts. Caudatus has caput, corpus, nucleus. Lentiformis has nucleus caudatus is first, lentiformis is second. There are 4. Nucleus lentiformis. Each nucleus has proper anatomical parts. Nucleus caudatus has caput, corpus, cauda. Nucleus lentiformis has putamen, external part, more dark part, putamen, and more light globus pallidus medialis and lateralis. Globus pallidus, medial and lateral globus pallidus. Can I take this atlas? They are parts of lentiformis. Nucleus lentiformis has putamen, external coat, like coat of the egg. It is called putamen.
Putamen.
Putamen. P.
Globus pallidus diagonal.
Medialis and lateralis. I will show this.
Page 170.
Да, encephalon. Oh, это легче, да. In this direction we will go with this measure.
First nerves and then
The cerebral cortex. This nucleus caudatus, which lies in the thickness, it has caput, corpus, and cauda. This shape. This nucleus lentiformis. But nucleus lentiformis on this nucleus lentiformis, but on frontal section, and then find on horizontal section nucleus lentiformis evolution. I will show on horizontal section this nucleus lentiformis. Nucleus lentiformis has putamen, number 9, globus pallidus lateralis and medialis. Number 9 is, where is 9? Putamen. And 7 is globus pallidus, lateral and medial. Putamen and globus pallidus. 6 is putamen and globus pallidus. This nucleus lentiformis, nucleus caudatus. Do you understand? This nucleus caudatus has this shape. On horizontal section, nucleus caudatus, which has this shape. On horizontal section, what part of nucleus caudatus you can say? Only caput and cauda. Here, caput, and here, number 9, caudate nucleus tail, cauda. It goes so. This is caput and cauda of nucleus caudatus. This is nucleus lentiformis, which lies near. Lentiformis near. On horizontal section, it has lentiformis. This caudatus, this lentiformis, which has putamen globus pallidus, they together consist of gray matter and connected by white matter. That is why they call corpus striatum. Corpus striatum. Right. Together, corpus striatum. Striatum. Gray and white matter. Like stria. Connected. The third is called without nucleus, only claustrum. This lamina of the gray matter is called claustrum. Palisade. Septum. Claustrum. Claustrum. Number 5. Number 5. Claustrum. And externally from claustrum you can see this insula. The fifth lobe is insula. Так. Number 10 is thalamus. Thalamus belongs to diencephalon, next part of the brain. This between these nuclei, and the fourth nuclei. The fourth is not visible on this section because it lies on temporal lobe, in the temporal lobe thickness, medially of temporal, about here. In temporal lobe, medial, on medial surface. That is why you can find maybe this, number 26. Сейчас посмотрим. The 26.
it's 26. Ammon's horn hippocampus, that's 26.
Ammon's horn. Так, тогда, this Ammon's horn. No, near of Ammon's horn, like amygdaloid nucleus. Special picture. It is on this picture, on frontal section, best visible. Here, and it's also 22, just a minute, 20. hippocampal. Ну, вот это, maybe here, 13, а 13 что это? Нет, geniculate body. It lies in a thickness near the anterior pole of the temporal lobe. Maybe here, 18. Hippocampus опять. Вот 4, вот должно быть 4, number 4, amygdaloid. Where is? Вот, amygdala, I find. It must be near here, but different, понимаете, it must be different frontal. If it lies far from anterior pole, it lies only in anterior pole. Level of hippocampus. Да? Here is absent, only here, near the anterior pole. This level of hippocampus, this level of amygdaloid body. That is why I could not find. Here lies amygdaloid body, behind lies hippocampus. If section through hippocampus, that is why everywhere I find hippocampus. But amygdala more frontally section. Here, frontally section. It lies on medial part of temporal lobe. The nucleus caudatus, lentiformis, claustrum, and amygdala or amygdaloid body, they form the basal foreganglia, which connected with the nucleus of the cerebellum, with the red nucleus of midbrain, and together they participate in coordination of movements, keeping of the posture and muscular tone. Muscular tone. That is why, if this muscular tone in Parkinson's disease reduced, tremor.
GABA is decreased.
No. GABA.
Gamma acetobutyric acid.
Да. Thank you. Да. Between these nuclei, you can see the white matter form different capsule. What name have this capsule? This capsula extrema. You can write near the between nuclei, capsule of the white matter, free capsule. First is extreme, the most extreme capsule, between insula and claustrum.
What is the capsule?
Extrema. Extrema. Is it marked here? Capsula extreme. Externa is this. And this is.
It's N.
No, it is not marked here, but it is called capsula extrema. The most extreme capsule, then extern capsule between claustrum and the insular cortex. This extreme, this external between claustrum and putamen of lentiform nucleus. Between claustrum and lentiform, external.
Right again, please, again.
And between lentiformis, caudatus nucleus and thalamus lies capsula interna. This is capsula interna. That is why it is better. Можно карандаш? Pencil is better for drawing, please. You can draw on one half, for example, this nucleus caudatus, on one hemisphere, and nucleus caudatus. This nucleus is nucleus caudatus. Here you draw this lentiformis, which has what? More dark putamen and more light globus pallidus. Pallidus pale. Pale. More light. This is nucleus lentiformis. Here we have gray lamina, which is called claustrum. And also we have, what nucleus is this? Egg-shaped nucleus, which is called thalamus. Belongs to diencephalon. This thalamus, this nucleus caudatus, this is nucleus lentiformis. And here we have insular cortex. You can see this capsula externa, this extrema, the most extreme, and this capsula, which lies between caudatus, lentiformis, and thalamus. It has shape of angle shape, this white matter. This is crus anterius, crus posterius, and genio of capsula interna.
31, 43.
It is also gray matter nucleus.
31, 43. Well, and the next is peripheral branch.
Subcortical or basal ganglia, together with thalamus of diencephalon, between them form capsula interna. This capsula interna is main site through which pass white matter projection fibers. They pass through capsula interna.
Extrema is between
Claustrum and cortex of insula. Here, cortex of insula and claustrum. Putamen. You can write cortex of insula. Это insula, это claustrum, lentiform putamen. We will describe basal ganglia and between them capsule. This is the third part. Second, the third part. You will describe olfactory brain. In hemisphere, we have not only cortex, white matter, basal ganglia, but also olfactory brain. Different parts of olfactory brain which lie on medial surface of the brain. Limbic lobe, olfactory brain. You will describe peripheral and central part of olfactory brain. Gyrus fornicatus. Right, gyrus fornicatus form the central part of the olfactory brain. Have a big atlas. Please give this atlas. I don't have pages of this. Olfactory brain has the peripheral part and central part. The peripheral part. The central part. Gyrus fornicatus consists of what parts? Gyrus cinguli. Cingulate gyre. Gyrus. Сейчас я show this pink color. Gyrus cinguli. Then isthmus, narrow part. Next, isthmus. This most narrow part is called isthmus. Then gyrus parahippocampalis, because it lies near in the thickness here lies hippocampus. This gyrus lies near parahippocampus, parahippocampal gyrus, and uncus. Uncus is hook. Gyrus cinguli, isthmus, parahippocampalis, uncus. What shape has this gyrus? Like fornix. Gyrus fornicatus arnoldi. Arnold, olfactory brain gyrus. Function. The highest cortical olfactory center is gyrus parahippocampalis uncus. Here analysis the smell, different smell analysis in the, especially in gyrus fornicatus, this end part, parahippocampalis uncus cortical center. This is olfactory brain. At hedgehog, for example, the main part of the brain is formed by this brain. The hemisphere represented by this olfactory brain, because all their behavior depends from smell. At animals, this brain olfactory very good developed, but at Homo sapiens, we belong to micro, not macro, microosmic people. Animal, microosmic, that our smell olfactory apparatus not so important as for animals, for example dogs, for hedgehogs. All their behavior depends from this olfactory brain. But in man, Homo sapiens, with the development of the neocortex, this olfactory brain is not mainstream in regulation of our behavior. It comes in depth, in the thickness of the brain. It goes on the thickness, and above allocated many new part of the brain neocortex, in which we have more new centers. What centers? Reading, speech centers, understanding of the speech, and different centers of second signal system. Olfactory brain belong to old part of the brain. More old part of the brain becomes on medial surface of the brain, but it also belongs to hemisphere. Yeah? And the fourth part, olfactory brain. This is I have described. Central part is gyrus fornicatus, but it also has peripheral part of
Olfactory bulb.
olfactory analyzer, it is called. Consists of olfactory bulb, olfactory tract, trigonum. Olfactory on inferior surface hemisphere we have peripheral part for which pass impulse to the central. Peripheral part of olfactory brain is represented by olfactory bulb, bulbus olfactorius, tractus olfactorius. Yeah, bulbus olfactorius, then tractus olfactorius, then trigonum, then stria olfactoria lateralis, medialis, stria olfactoria. We have the lateral, the medial, intermedial. This peripheral part, until substantia perforata anterior perforating substance. This part is peripheral part of olfactory brain. This olfactory brain with many additional other structures. It is called prefrontal, amygdala, nucleus dentatus, hippocampus, all together form also limbic system. Olfactory lobe is part of limbic system. From our smell depends also our behavior, yes, also fluids, sexual behavior. That is why olfactory is main part of what system? So-called limbic system. Shortly, right, from your book, olfactory brain and limbic system, because you have small question in your examination. What is the limbic system and olfactory brain? Rhinencephalon, olfactory brain. Evolution, connection, smelling, anatomical base of limbic system is the olfactory brain. The rhinencephalon consists of peripheral and central. Rhinencephalon, it is olfactory brain. Olfactory brain right above, rhinencephalon. It consists of peripheral and central part. The peripheral part includes olfactory bulb, olfactory tract, olfactory triangle, together with the medial, lateral, olfactory stripes and anterior perforated substance. The central represented gyrus fornicatus, hippocampus and parahippocampal gyrus, gyrus dentatus uncus. But gyrus dentatus is not belong to central part. Central part, it is belong to limbic system, additional to for it is not in gyrus fornicatus. No, ладно, how it described belong to both. Gyrus of corpus callosum. The gray matter which covers the corpus callosum. It is not called gyrus of corpus callosum. It is called gyrus cinguli. Gyrus which covers callosum is called cinguli. Covering. No, cingulum it means bend, which bend and cover rim. There, like rim surround. Community of the structure. Not this part of the olfactory brain and limbic system. And the fourth part of telencephalon is the cavity of the hemisphere, remnant of primary brain vesicle cavity. The cavity of hemisphere, that is lateral ventricles. The first in left hemisphere and second in right hemisphere. First and second ventricles, or they are called lateral ventricles. There are four parts that you will, it is planned, and more detailed will describe now all, no, shortly describe basal olfactory dam, but return to first cortex, cerebral cortex, and each hemisphere has frontal pole, occipital pole, temporal pole, superior margin, inferior medial, inferior lateral. One superior margin, inferior medial, inferior lateral, which separate what three surfaces. This is medial surface. This is superolateral. This medial. If you cut two hemisphere and view from medial side, this inferior. About weight, about mass, some gray and white matter, you have received information during lecture. Free poles, free margins, free surfaces, and primary cell side divide on the surface of the hemisphere. We can see sulci and gyri. And here we have primary cell side, which very easy can be found. Sulcus centralis. Yeah. More better expressed and constant. Sulcus centralis separates in front what lobe? Frontal lobe. Behind parietal. But between parietal and occipital lobe, on this surface, we have not any border. We have border between them on medial surface. Here we have definite border. We have sulcus parieto-occipitalis on medial surface, and conditionally, if you continue on this surface above, will be surface border between these two. Sulcus parieto-occipitalis separates parietal and occipital. Then sulcus lateralis, Silvii. Sulcus lateralis. The central is Roland's groove, Roland. This Silvi describes. And in front of temporal lobe we have fossa. It's like mouth open. This part is fossa. This sulcus lateralis, this fossa lateralis of Silvi. Turn your attention, this fossa, if you have one hemisphere, this fossa must be faced forward. Open forward. The best developed lobe is what, or our logic processes, analysis, synthesis, with what?
Frontal.
On 60s of years of last 20th century, in psychiatric clinic, experiments on the man is very bad. That an lobectomy, remove the frontal lobe, and like animal, the man transformed like animal only physiological function. No logic processes. The frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal, occipital. The fifth lobe lies in the thickness of sulcus lateralis. If you want to see it, you must open this or remove some part of the brain which covers. This covering part is called operculum. Some part of operculum belongs to frontal, some part to parietal and temporal. They are called operculum frontale, parietale and temporale. If you will remove this operculum covering part, you can see insula, which has sulcus circularis insula, the circular group, and it has this limen devoid of sulci, and it has gyri insula brevis and longus, short and long. Function not yet finally known, discovered. There's no dysfunction on animal. If cat remove this, not any very important function destroyed. Vegetative function, vegetative control of the function of the body. Neurovascular regulation and vegetative function, secretion.